Here, see if you can spot the difference here between Trump from 5 years ago and Kamala Harris today. Okay, she comes down there, smooth as ice, in heels, by the way. And Trump 5 years younger than he is today. Right, but Biden's too old. Yep, Biden's too old. Definitely not that guy. Oh yeah, Rudy Giuliani's daughter endorsed Kamala Harris recently. Donald Trump took my dad from me. Please don't let him take our country too. Caroline Giuliani. And let's get a live reaction from Rudy there. There we go. Speaking of Rudy, he's been officially disbarred in D.C. for his attempts to subvert the 2020 election. This is following him being disbarred in New York back in July for the same reasons and being ordered to pay former Georgia election workers Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss $148 million for making up lies about them following the 2020 election. And another live shot. There we go. Seems to be enjoying himself. Honestly, I'd probably make that face too if I had to pay somebody $148 million, but I wouldn't be in that situation since I'm not a fucking liar. And in more bad news for Rudy, it was revealed last week that he accidentally texted his plans to steal the election to the wrong number. In a filing unsealed by U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkan, who is overseeing Trump's federal election subversion case. Another live shot when he realized he sent it to the wrong number there. According to the filing, Giuliani, who was leading Trump's legal team, texted the wrong number when he was attempting to pressure a GOP leader in Michigan to use the state legislature to overturn valid election results. So I need you to pass a joint resolution from the Michigan legislature that states that the election is in dispute. There's an ongoing investigation by the legislature, and the electors sent by Governor Whitmer are not the official electors of the state of Michigan and do not fall within the safe harbor deadline of December 8th under Michigan law, Giuliani wrote in a text message on December 7th. Prosecutors say the message failed to go through because Giuliani typed in the wrong number. President Joe Biden flipped the state of Michigan in 2020, defeating Trump by 2.8 percentage points. Hey, you guys remember when Republicans were all up in arms about Hunter Biden's laptop that they super duper pinky sweared proved that Hunter got millions from Ukraine by using his father's influence? And then their amazing evidence for this was a Chinese spy, a whistleblower that they can't find, and a guy that had to give his testimony by Zoom call since he was currently serving time in prison. Well, you'll probably be shocked to hear that those same Republicans don't seem to give a rat's ass about a new report that Jared Kushner got $115 million from the Saudis for running the $2 billion investment fund they set up for him, despite making zero profits in the last 3 years. For context, the S&P 500 has risen 54.4% during that same time frame. So either he's wildly incompetent or it's a blatant political payoff.
In the past 18 months, Republicans have gathered 3.8 million documents and 80 hours of witness testimonies on a baseless inquiry against President Joe Biden. But now that Joe Biden is not running for president, they've ended their political impeachment stunt. Now, the investigation that we should be focusing on is Jared Kushner and his $2 billion from the Saudis just months after leaving the Trump White House. Now, new reporting today from the New York Times has noted that Jared Kushner collected $112 million in fees, but hasn't made a single dime for the Saudis through this fund. Now, we don't know if the Saudis expected profits or if they just wanted to reward Jared for his service. This $2 billion payment for this investment fund represents the reward of sitting next to former President Trump and pushing for pro-Saudi policies. During his time in the White House, Mr. Kushner consistently ignored the recommendations of top foreign policy experts at the State Department and even ignored the warnings of Trump's own Secretary of State. These conflicts of interest and the national security threats are obvious, but House Republicans are not interested in uncovering the truth about Kushner's actions or the suspicious actions of the Saudi government and other foreign governments. While the Senate is beginning to finally move on this investigation, the House has done nothing. Mr. Speaker, we can no longer wait to hold the Kushners accountable for their shady dealings. Our democracy is not for sale, and we need to ask ourselves the question: why did Jared Kushner receive $2 billion for an investment fund just months after leaving the White House? The American people deserve answers, and we should never stop until we get them.
But Hunter Biden's laptop.
Jared Kushner did work in the White House. He worked very hard. It's becoming a little less clear what he actually worked hard at, because after he left the White House, he went out and raised $3.1 billion, that's billion with a B, for a private equity fund. And as you pointed out, he's not a private equity guy. He's a real estate guy. So where did this money come from? Some of it we know from filing, some of it we know from press reports. What we know for a fact is he raised the $3.1 billion. What we also know for a fact is that only about $30 million of it actually came from investors in the United States. All the rest of it is foreign money. And of that foreign money, $2 billion of it came from the Saudis. And not only did it come from the Saudis, but the Public Investment Fund, which is the Saudi Sovereign Wealth Fund, from which this money came, the board of it voted against giving the money to Jared, and they were overruled by MBS, who said, give him the $2 billion. I've been in this business 40 years. I have never seen someone get $2 billion out of $3 billion, get 2/3 of their money from a single investor. Usually a single investor might be a few percent of the fund, might be 5%, occasionally 10%. Never seen this. Another $200 million we believe came from Qatar. Another $200 million we believe came from the UAE. And then the $625 million that came from foreign investors that we don't even know who they are. So what was Jared Kushner doing in the White House? And by the way, as a fun fact, on January 6th, the famous January 6th, Jared Kushner was in the Middle East.
Steve.
Huh. Gee, I wonder what he was doing there. Funny how Republicans don't want to know what he was doing there. Oh yeah, and here's one for the More Money Than Brains Hall of Fame. Remember that tomato-colored fella that paid $4,000 at an auction to smash a guitar signed by Taylor Swift? Well, turns out that guitar was a fake.
Joking. Guess we don't need the wall hanger.
God, what a weird cult.
I'll take that, hang up that busted thing.
Look how red he is, too. He's almost as red as that stripe on the flag. God, what a bunch of weirdos, and pissed away $4,000 to smash a fake guitar. Good job, guy. Hope you're happy. Hope you're real proud of yourself. Trump supporters think Kamala should be locked up for being stupid. Oh, this is hilarious.
You know, we're doing it by stupid people like Kamala. She's a stupid person. Stupid person. I don't care. I don't care.
Lock her up for what? Like, stupidity is a crime, which is so ironic, because every one of these red hat wearing morons would be in fucking, Guantanamo Bay if being stupid was a crime.
What do you feel about the people here protesting Donald Trump?
Well, I feel like everybody should have something to say, but this is a Trump rally. If you don't like it, don't come here to protest. Don't come if you're uneducated and you don't know what you're talking about.
You would rather they just didn't come here?
I would rather them not come here.
Are you a fan of the First Amendment?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, the right to bear arms. Look, this is God.
That's not the First Amendment.
No, the Fourth Amendment.
That's the person that thinks that you should be locked up if you're stupid, and you shouldn't come to a Trump rally if you're uneducated. The lady that thinks that the First Amendment is the right to bear arms, and when she's called out on it, that's not the First Amendment, she corrects herself and says it's the Fourth Amendment. Yeah. Don't come to a Trump rally if you're uneducated. God damn, dude. I mean, Trump says if Kamala is elected, there will be a 1929 level depression. Spoiler alert, no there won't, and he said that exact same thing about Joe Biden in 2020.
This is a communist tax, it's called, and it's never used. Nobody's ever even heard of using it. But it's no good, and it's something that we're not going to let happen because we will be driven into a depression, the likes of which we probably only seen in 1929. Kamala Harris.
Where have I heard that before? Oh, yeah, that's right. 4 years ago when he said the exact same thing about Biden. Meanwhile, literally earlier today, the stock market set another all-time high record. So, yeah, gotta love Nostradamus here and his predictions.